We've had some unusually warm days here in Sandy the last couple days. I mean, it's been like up to 100 degrees. And so the bees seem to have gotten thirsty. Yesterday I came out and their feeder was completely empty. So I filled it up all the way. And today they've already gone through that much. That's more than they've ever done in a day. And it looks like they're hot inside too, because you see them hanging out there on the bottom, just trying to chill out and get the temperature down, I think, a little bit. So I am hopeful though that we will have had a lot of activity in the hive, that the third body that I put on as the honey super will have started to have some wax put down in it. But this one should be interesting because, as you can see, they're also really active right now. I'll try to put the camera up this time looking down into the hive so you can see more of what's going on. So you're looking straight down at the hive. I'm hoping this week that I can find the queen, because I didn't see her last week, but that's not necessarily, doesn't mean anything. Here, we'll crack this open. Okay. I can hear a lot of buzzing in the hive right now. Hey, look at that. First time ever that the lid, the inner cover didn't stick to the outer cover. So here, this is something I've never had to do before. But I'm gonna smoke down into that hole. Oh, can you hear them? They are buzzing. They are letting me know. They're not quite thrilled that I'm here. Oh wow, that is good and stuck on there this time. Wow, there we go. Crack that off. See, look, I don't know if you can see, but they've been gluing everything together here along the edge. That's the first time I've seen them do that. So, cool. Now, just looking down into it, not much activity up here yet, from what I can see, in what is to be my honey super. But there are some bees crawling around in there. Let's see if I can just get this off. I'm gonna put this and save that till last. Start with the lower hive body. So this is a new piece. This is the queen excluder that I put in last week, and as you can see, the workers can get up through it. See these ones here on top? They've squeezed up through, but the gap between the bars is too small to allow the queen to get out, and so she won't come up into this third body that I just took off. She won't be able to come up and lay eggs there. It'll just become honey storage. So I'm going to take that off and just kind of glue. They've really started gluing it down with this stuff. This is the Propolis. See that sticky stuff? So they started gluing that down, gluing everything shut. I'm just going to kind of scrape off some of that now. Just to make sure that, you know, it doesn't get completely glued shut. But look at that. Some people I know take Propolis as a health supplement. I don't know what for, but it's just this glue that they make right there. Okay, the queen is not on the excluder, so I will just take that off. I like that. Second hive body. And as you can see, I'm just gonna move this a bit. As you can see, maybe right in here along the edge, there's where they were gluing everything together. So I'm gonna try to scrape off some of that so that we don't get a box that gets too sticky. Alrighty, so, but now I have to peel that off of my, look at that. It's not wax, it's not honey, it's just this glue that they make. It's really, really sticky. And that's how they seal everything up and glue things shut. Just put that over here. Now, I'm just going to look down. If you can see, there is just, the bees are just packed in there. I don't know if you can see down in there, but there's just a lot of bees. So, zoom you back out. And I'm going to take this upper hive deep. This upper deep, oh actually I need to clean up along there. That is really sticky too. So yeah, so I read that if there's a gap bigger than 3/8 of an inch, they fill the gap up with honeycomb. If there is a gap smaller than 3/8 of an inch, they seal it up with propolis. And I guess that's how they feel. They've got a clean, secure hive. But yeah, that's the first time I've had to do that. So they've just decided this week we need to glue everything up. So I'm going to stick this in here, crack this hive body off, and now I'll just twist it a bit. Oh boy, it's heavy. Oh, there we go. Oh boy, that's heavy. Okay, girls, you're just gonna hang out there for a while. And now we're gonna go into this lower deep hive body. Smoker's going pretty well today. Let's get you open, guys. Well, looky there. That last frame. They have really started doing some work on it. Oh, looky there. So this is probably the best one that I've been able to show you because of the angle of the camera, but this right here, covered with this nice white, clean, pure wax, that's honey. So that's what it looks like. And looking at this, the rest of that frame is loaded with nectar, which will eventually become honey. So this is going to become a honey frame. Storage for the bees, their food for the winter. Let me just check here. I'm trying to see. No, queen's not on the bottom. She's not on that frame, and I wouldn't expect her to be, given that it's just loaded with honey. There's no place for her to lay an egg. Same thing happening here.
You see that's just stored honey there at the top. No queen on there. There's some brood, but they're even turning this older comb, and it looks like it's going to turn into honey storage. There's no eggs down in those cells. There's some brood here. You can tell it's different colored wax capping, and it's kind of rounded instead of flat like the capping here. They've got some pollen stored in there, but a lot of those, if you look at it, I don't know if you can see, it just looks like glistening wetness in there, and that's the nectar that they're going to turn into honey. I'm going to clean up this one a bit. It's really sticky. Okay, down you go again. I'm going to look in the box and see if I can see the queen. I don't see her on the sides of the box. Just push this one up to there. And now I'm going to open up here. They are little. Go away. Let me do what I need to. Okay. This one actually feels lighter than the first two because it doesn't have as much honey across the top of the frame. It's got a lot of pollen. You can see those the cells that look like they're just orange inside, but they aren't capped brood. That's their pollen storage. Okay, so there we've got brood, and let me see if I can get a good hold on this without getting myself stung or anybody squashed, because I'd really like to show you. If you look down in some of those empty cells that's in the middle of the brood, you'll see the little white larvae. So that means the queen was there in the last few days. So she is in the box. I just haven't seen her. And I gotta, actually, looks like propolis is gonna start being an issue. Hasn't been in the weeks past, but I'm gonna clean up what I can here. And you can tell that just the sheer number of bees. Okay, so there we've got a lot of capped brood and some honey, just a little bit of honey across the top, not too much. Same thing here. Now we've got some, I'm going to cut this off here because this is not what I want to have happening. Sorry, I'm going to be destroying some larvae here, girls. I know, that's not really what you want to see me doing. But I've got to. Okay, that was hanging out a little funky. Okay. Still don't see the queen. Okay, they're all hanging out. I can't put the frame back because they're in between the frames and I'm going to squash them really badly. Okay, there we go. There we go. There we go. Okay. Not seeing any brood on that. A little bit of honey up in the corners. A lot of stored pollen. And that's what I have read and come to expect, is that once I put the second hive body on, they turn the lower hive body, the lower deep, into storage more than brood production. And so the second hive body, the upper hive body, that's where they will start focusing the brood. Let's see here. Once again, lots of nectar. You can see it just glistening there in the sunlight. That'll eventually all be capped off, and they'll have their nectar in their pollen stores. Do have some brood in there, and you can also see down into the little areas where there are some larvae. Just a few. Same situation here. There, looks like they're pretty well turning everything into honey and pollen stores down in the bottom frame, in the bottom box, excuse me.
So is the shiny stuff on that frame on the ground printing, is that honey?
Yeah, that's, well, that's
Like uncapped honey?
that's nectar that they're going to convert into honey. Okay, some new brood on this one. I'm going to cut that little weirdness off. Just cut this little cup off. I don't know if that looks like it could be the beginning of a queen cup. I don't want any of those. But yeah, this is just a lot more honey. You can see towards the outside frames they're starting to really convert it into honey. It's for your own good, girls. I don't want to squash you. There you go. Oh yeah. See, these outer frames are definitely, they're just honey production frames now. And that one they haven't really done much on that. But it's funny, the honey frames are a whole lot heavier than the non-honey frames. And this one, looks like they have found this one. Started laying down some wax on the foundation. See, when I've said foundation, I never really took a good picture of it. But see this right here? This is just a plastic product that already has the honeycomb shape imprinted into it by the manufacturers. And that's put there, and then the bees follow that pattern and they draw out the comb by adding honey wax to that pattern. And so that's what that looks like. Oh, looky there. And here, if you look here, this big fella right there, that's a drone. Right there. You can tell he's a lot bigger, and if you look at it, his eyes, they wrap up over the top of his head. But that guy, he does nothing but hope someday he can get busy with the queen. Doesn't create anything, he just wanders around the hive. But yeah, you can tell he's a lot bigger, and his eyes wrap up around the top of his head. So that's, hopefully you saw that. I never know if these are going to be any good videos because I don't know if I'm even in frame. I'm hoping that I am. Okay, so that box is done, and now we just need to, oh, look at this. Do you see how they line up right there facing me? That's their defensive position. Their heads out, they are ready to go. They're like, come on. I'll say fine. Get down. Now we're just gonna push this back. And the reason I do it this way instead of one at a time is now it reduces the opportunities for getting squashed. Okay, let's put this first frame back in. Okay, girls, down we go. Oh, there's lots of you on that one. Okay, I'm gonna have to smoke you. Just so I can get this pushed back into place. There we go. Now, even up the gap on both sides. First frame, first box done. Didn't see the queen, but I'm guessing another thing that I've heard, and you can't really tell this on the video, is that hives get loud when the queen is missing. And right now that lower box is roaring. It is very loud and angry sounding. But this upper box is entirely silent. There's no buzzing at all. And so I think that means that the queen is in here. So when she was in here and this box was away, they're all happy because the queen's in residence. But when this box was away with the queen and the lower box didn't have a queen in it, they're getting angry. They don't like that. So now that she's here, hopefully her pheromones will go down into the lower box, tell them, hey, I'm here, calm down, everything's okay. That being said, when I smoke them, I anticipate they'll get a little bit more upset. But it is really interesting because this upper body right now, dead silent. Let's just get you down there, girls. Okay. I like inspecting this upper hive bodies better because I don't have to bend down as much. Saves my back. Okay. That's just wax being produced. Oh, there's the queen. Right there. You see her? She's got the big bullseye on her back that was painted on by the supplier. Right there. That's her. And she's interesting. I mean, she's just a lot longer. She's not as chubby as the drones. She's a lot more trim looking. Her wings are shorter. And she's just going around doing her thing, laying eggs. Oh, I'm glad to see her. And she's went over on this side, it looks like. There she is again. You can see her with that spot on her. It's just so much easier to find her. Good deal. Okay, queen's in residence. But I don't want to put this frame down. She was on the very first frame in the box. So, instead of putting this on the ground like I usually do, I'm going to put this back in here and keep her safe inside the hive. I'm going to just squeeze this one a little closer to this wall, and now I'm going to take out this middle frame. Or this second frame. And I really don't have to do anything more now. She is there. I just want to see if I can see any new brood or anything being laid. There's a lot of honey going down on these frames. They're very heavy. Oh, look, there. Do you see all the little shrimpy looking little white larvae down in there that haven't been capped yet? Oh, and here's something cool. Let's see if I can point out this one single bee to you. When they return to the hive with pollen, they store it in these little sacks that they build on their legs. This bee right here, you can still see, she has her pollen sacs on her leg, right there, just at the corner of my tool. They just look like little orange bags. That's pollen from somewhere. And I'll store somewhere here in the hive or feed it to whoever needs it. So, that's looking good. This one right here. I don't know what she's doing, but she's got her head way down in the cell. She may be feeding a larva right there. That's cool. Oh, lots of larvae actually in different stages of development here. Yeah, oh look. Look down in there, they're like beginning larvae. They're just small, like little ghosts of bee larvae down there. So yeah, the queen is definitely doing her job. Lots of... In fact, I'm just going to leave them alone at this point, because I've seen what I need to see. She's there. The bees, and that frame confirms that there is new brood being laid. So I'm just gonna see if I can get these guys to go down so I get some room to squeeze this second frame in. And then I'll put the queen excluder back on. Oh boy, just busy. There's a lot of action going on here. Okay, gotta get you out of the way, girls. Come on. Yeah, get out of there. Sorry. I know your lives are short.
Do you check the bird comb?
Nah, not today. Let's just make sure that is clean. Now comes the queen excluder. I'll just put that on top, like so. And like everything in a hive, it just kind of sits there. It doesn't interlock, but as you can see, the bees, they glue it all together. Now, I do want to look at the honey super and just see if anything at all is happening up here yet. I'm thinking probably not, but we'll take a quick look. I think it was the right thing to do, though, when I did it, because it has been so hot recently, and giving them more room reduces the chance of them overheating. And I don't want them to overheat. But let's just take a look here, see what, if anything, is happening here. Well, the beginnings of some wax is being laid down in that corner. Let's just put this to the side. Nothing there really. Let's see let's just jump to the middle here and see if anything's going on in the middle, because they do work from the middle out. So we'll just pull this one out here. Really nothing yet. I mean, there are the beginnings of some wax being laid down. But that's good. I think it was the right thing, because it has been so hot. And if bees get too hot, they can swarm or they can abscond. Absconding is when just the whole colony disappears and you're left with nothing. Swarming is when half of the colony goes off with a queen and leaves half the colony behind. And you don't really want either of those things to happen out of the blue. And so I gave them more space. They have found up here, which is nice. And I anticipate that in the next few weeks, more and more will be going on up here. But as we saw down in the bottom, they've got their storage going. They've turned the middle deep body into the brood chamber. Like that frame that we pulled out, the last one that we pulled out, just lots of larvae at different stages of development. So that's going to become really where the bulk of the brood production goes on now. And this honey super, they are starting the very beginning stages of turning it into honey storage. So there, we'll just put that lid on. And now I will put the upper lid on, outer cover, and I'm gonna push it forward, because if you saw, I put the notch up facing this way, so I'm gonna push the outer cover this way so that that's as open as possible on this side, and that way we ensure good airflow through the hive. So we're done for this week. Well, actually, I'm gonna fill up the syrup, because, you know, in one day they've drunk probably a good, not quite a quarter of it. So we got to make sure that they have enough of that.